Well, that's interesting. Hmm. The hell happened? I lost Facebook. Yeah, Kathy here. I started the show and I lost Facebook. We're only on one platform now, strictly YouTube. I don't understand it. I hit start and Facebook fucking disappeared. Which makes no sense. I I'm on I mean I'm signed into Facebook. I don't know why it vanished. Just freaking vanished. So if anybody is trying to join the show on Facebook, sorry, YouTube only tonight on prison. Broadcasting live from the basement storeroom of station WDWL TV. It's the pride of the station, the pride of the show, the grumpy old man. Me. And Dickhead has returned, but he's still wearing his Unfair to Vultures banner, so he can stay right there. I was telling Kathy, I hit start and lost Facebook. It just automatically like deleted itself. So if anybody is trying to get on via Facebook, it's not going to happen tonight. It just vanished. It was it was up in the corner because it says my channels and it's YouTube, Facebook. I hit start and poof, it went away. I got to turn this down a little bit. I can't remember which way. I had it turned up too loud for the little headphones. Is that better? Okay, that's better. No, a little bit more. I got to turn it down a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, there we go. I had to turn it up when I was using the little earbud thingies. I had to turn it down. So, how is everybody doing? Yeah, I guess it's my turn for issues. I don't. I guess they're making like a round robin. You get an issue tonight, you get an issue tonight, you get an issue tonight. Long as, you know what? I don't, very rarely do Facebook people come in. I mean, most of the time it's the girls from the hospital. Those are the only ones, or Timmy, my neighbor up the street, but otherwise, really, holy shit. Well, Linda, so far, I I'll tell you what is happening, and I know it's going to get worse. I'm starting to get like a little twitch in my right leg because most of all, I should say most, all of my pain is down the right side. And I'll be laying in bed and all of a sudden I'll get a twitch. And then another twitch. And another twitch. If I take a Neurontin, within 20 minutes, it stops. So I know it's nerve related. But it'll get worse. And the major problem is I am max on my Neurontin. 3,600 milligrams a day. That's why I said if if I take a Neurontin, it'll stabilize and I'll be fine. If I try to ignore it, it gets worse. It gets to the point where I can't fucking sleep. So, fun. My two shirts arrived today. Well, Linda, my fucking patch is really wearing off. It feels like I'm in a giant clamp and somebody keeps twisting it tighter and tighter and tighter. And I've got like a mild electrical shock going down my right side. Well, I'll tell you, I am very lucky that my gabapentin is still working. Especially, being maxed out on it. I'm just grateful that it hasn't moved to the left side. It's it like it stops at my spine. And thank God, because if I was getting this full body, oh, I couldn't take it. All my pain is strictly right side. I guess it's shirt time. This is my. Let me get the mic out of the way. What would you call it? My retro shirt. And then, oh. My patriotic shirt with the bald eagles. I like this one, given the evil eye here. Not bad for $2.50 a piece on Temu. Closeout. Yep. $2.50 a piece. I couldn't pass them up. Too bad that the Eagle shirt didn't come earlier. But now I have a selection of nice, light, airy shirts to wear all summer. And then I got one coming, it should be here next week. That is the cool Western shirt. It's Western motif. Oh. You couldn't see them? Which, you want me to, again? You want me to show you again, Linda? I can show them. I can put some more light on the subject. Hang on. We'll do it this way. Studio light. Okay, here we go. The patriotic shirt. with the USA in the bottom. And the retro 50 shirt. I never heard of J.B. Dickey root beer. Out of Kansas. That's my... The only thing is they don't have pockets. None of the shirts have pockets. But for $2, $2.50 a piece. So what I do it about twice a week. I put in clearance men's shirts. And then it gives me a whole shitload of shirts on clearance. And then I look for the cheapest one. And if I like it, hold on. I knocked over, I'm charging my Tough tablet. If I like the design and it's in my size and it's in my price range, I order it. There were a couple I really wanted, but they were all triple, quadruple, sextuple, X large. But I twice a week, and they have t-shirts. I've got enough t-shirts. But they've got a whole women's section, although I'm not ready to transgender, so I don't look in the women's section. But twice a week, I clearance men's shirts. And it takes you right to the clearance. And then if I see a couple that I like, what I'll do, I'll put them temporarily in my shopping cart. And once I get like 5 or 6 shirts, then I go into the shopping cart and I look like, oh, okay, delete that one, delete that one. But 2 shirts for $5, that's like 1960s prices. I can almost imagine what these shirts would sell for at the Bullseye store or even Walmart. Prices are ridiculous, especially clothing. So right now what I'm doing, I'm looking for cargo shorts, but they haven't come down in the clearance yet. They haven't come down in price. Oh, I know. I understand that. My buddy that lives up the street is colorblind, and it's hilarious. If his wife forgets to lay out his clothes, now he not so bad, with a shirt and shorts. Then you look down at his feet. He'll have one red sock on and one black one. And I'll be like, Walt, you have two different color socks on. No, I don't. Yes, you do. Oh, Kathy, I love cargo slacks and cargo shorts. Unfortunately, the cargo shorts that I have no longer fit. So I've been looking on Temu. Now, all right, there's some that are down to $10. I'm cheap. I'm waiting for them to come down to 5. Then I'll buy them. Be my luck, they'll sell out. But so far, they're 10 to 12 bucks, which I know is a bargain, but I'm cheap. You would think that shirt would be $14.97 at Walmart? I think it would be a little more than that. Maybe you're right. I don't shop at Walmart. Right, Kathy. I don't need to carry my purse with cargo shorts. You must have noticed when I was at Kaiser Meats. Don't tell nobody. That's our little secret. It wasn't a purse, it was a merce. That's like I've got a fanny pack. Actually, a belly pack because I wear it turned around. And it has a nice compartment for my 9. So I have my wallet and my protection. I don't really care for it. It was a gift. I use it now and then. I'd rather use my shoulder holster anyway. Oh, cargo shorts, they're great because you can carry a shitload of stuff on you I like them because basically I can carry my wallet and my cell phone and my little buddy, my 25 auto, and nobody knows. Cell phone, wallet, keys. Well, keys I clip on my belt loop. Pocket knife. I always have a pocket knife. Always. Ever since I was a little. How old was I? I was 8 years old when my grandfather gave me a pocket knife. It was a little itty, about this big. I've got it. God, where did I put it? I've got it. My grandmother threw a shit fit. You're going to turn him into a hoodlum. It was a little itty bitty pocket knife. The blade is only like 3/4 of an inch. I was going to get turned into a hoodlum. That's all she did, bitch at my grandfather. You're turning him into a hoodlum. But as a matter of fact, oh man, did I get in some trouble. Oh. I keep my pocket knife in my back pocket with my handkerchief. Now, my handkerchiefs are the women use them for bananas, So they're heavy. Well, usually my pocket knife is sandwiched in between my kerchief. Ever since 8 years old, I have never been without a knife. It's to the point, if I'm going to wear the same slacks the next day, I don't empty my pockets. So I get dressed in the morning, and my buddy had to go to a county office. Yeah, babushka, yeah. So this was after 9/11. So I'm not thinking. We go through the metal detector. So the guy starts to wand me, What do you got there? And this office just had the metal detector. It didn't have the X-ray. So I said, well, I got change and keys. Comes around to my ass. What's in your pocket? I said, my handkerchief. And then I was like, oh, holy shit. He pulled me out of line. He put me over in the corner. How dare you bring a weapon into a county office? I forgot about the fucking thing. I tried to explain to him. It's in my handkerchief or my babushka, and I forget it's there because I always have the knife in my babushka. Oh, God, I thought they were going to arrest my ass. Oh, my God. Like I deliberately carried a knife in. I forgot it was there. But I have carried a knife since I was 8 years old. And I didn't turn into a hoodlum. Maybe a little bit of an asshole, but not a hoodlum. Well, you know, I have probably a dozen babushkas, dozen of those bananas, and I fold them up and I use them for headbands because, oh yeah, I sweat, it gets down to my eyes. Although these nice headbands I got off of Timu are great. I really love them. I got to order some more. And it seems like since I don't have hair, the sweat, it's like a river. And nothing worse than salty sweat in your eye. Now it's got me wondering where I put that little pocket knife. See, I took it out to show somebody, and I have a bad habit. God, I don't want to lose that. My grandfather gave me that when I was 8 years old. Is it in here? No, it's not in that tray. Let me look on the other side. Now I'm getting nervous. Uh-oh. It's not there either. Uh-oh. Gotta be my luck I lost the goddamn thing. It's a cute little thing, too. Oh, that's making me nervous. Keep the thing for godzillion years and then frickin' lose it at the last minute. Oh boy. I guess I'm gonna have to rip this place apart tomorrow. I'm not finding it. Oh, if I lost that, I'll get hit with fucking lightning bolts. I probably have 90% of the stuff my grandfather gave me. Because he was more like a father to me than my father. And especially that knife. Because every weekend, my grandma would be like, oh, here come the two hoodlums. Oh God, she called us hoodlums for years. Of course, over the years, the knives got a little bigger. Matter of fact, I'll show you the one. The one that I got when I was 12. The blades got a little bigger. Now, the one I got when I was 8, the blade is about that big. And my grandmother was a hoodlum. Yeah, this one was, I got it when I was 12. Now, the one that I got when I was 14 or 15, and then they're all in the bedroom, in my dresser. Matter of fact, oh, that one's put away. He gave me at the time they called it a hunter's knife. It's like a giant Swiss Army knife, and it's got a spoon and a fork and corkscrews and bottle openers. It's huge. He called it a hunter's knife. But it's neat because it's got a fork and a spoon and a saw blade. Yeah, I like those triangular shadow boxes that they make for the flags. My sister's got the flag that was on my father's casket, and she's got it in one of them. It would have been nice to have the medals off his uniform, but my mother sold the uniform to some costume shop. God, my father had that uniform preserved, and after he died, she sold it to a costume shop. That's what she thought of him, I guess. I have to find little knifey tomorrow. After I get home from getting bitched out. Oh, jeez. Brought it to a Girl Scout camp? Holy shit. You know they don't call them Girl Scouts in England? They call them Girl Guides. I found that out last night. They call them Girl Guides, not Girl Scouts. Because this one woman was like, oh, all four of my daughters were in Girl Guides. And I remember Girl Guides. And they have the green. Now, they don't call them brownies, but they have the brown uniform. They call them Little Girl Guides. And then when they get to a certain age, then they get the green uniform, and they're just Girl Guides. Not Girl Scouts. I thought that was quite interesting. They have the same, it's the same scouting, but you're a member of the Girl Guides. Oh, really? Canada calls them Campfire Girls. Well, that's interesting. Same uniform? Well, like they say, scouting is worldwide. So in America, it's Girl Scouts. In, I would say, probably Britain, Ireland, Wales, it's probably Girl Guides. And then Canada has Campfire Girls, different uniform. Oh. God, you would think Canada, with England ruling them, basically. Wow, interesting. Oh, yeah. It's no longer Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, it's scouting. I read an article recently that they're changing the name to just scouting. So I guess if a girl wants to be a Boy Scout, hey, I went through the whole. I didn't have all the badges. I probably had three-quarter, but I was a dedicated scout. And my son went through scouting too. I got a lot out of it, and I encouraged him to get into it. Okay, I'm brain dead. You have brownies and Girl Scouts. What is the entry level for, what do they call the, because they wear a blue uniform. When the little guys get into scouting. Cub Scouts. Cub Scouts. Oh yeah, Kathy. Can you imagine the campouts? When a girl decides she wants to sleep in the boys' tent? Uh yeah, they're gonna learn the hard way. They are gonna learn the hard way. I don't believe in co-ed scouting. I really don't. But they're asking for trouble. Yep, you got it right. They are. Even if they have, like, boys tents on one side of the campfire and girls, yeah, there'll be a lot of let's play doctor and nurse. Were you in 4-H, Linda? Because I remember the twin girls that lived down the street from my uncle's farm. They were in 4-H and what the hell is it? Future Farmers of America. Because I remember by be staying at my uncle's farm over the summer, I'd take his old Farmall tractor down to the corner to visit the two twins. Oh, two adorable little blue-eyed blondes. Oh my God. God, what were their names? Oh, jeez. Oh shit! Come on, Grumpy. What were their names? Oh, come on. Oh God, how could I forget that? Oh man. Oh, oh, oh. Sarah and Sadie. Sarah and Sadie. The most adorable blue-eyed blondes. Oh, and identical, except my last summer, the last time I spent a summer at my uncle's farm, The one showed me how I could tell them apart. Because Sadie had a birthmark just below her belly button. It was just a little lower. Her shorts and underwear covered it up. But knowing that it was going to be my last week and I wouldn't be back next summer, she decided to show me how I could tell them apart. I was like, what do I have to do? Pull your shorts down and go, which one of you is Sadie? Oh, God, they were, oh. But I'll tell you what. Those two girls could kick my ass. When it came time to bale hay, and then you take the hay off the hay wagon, and they would throw it onto the conveyor belt that would go into the attic of the barn. I'd be like, "Rrr." And that little pixie could grab a fucking bale of hay and whew. I'd like, holy shit, I ain't never gonna get in a fight with you two. Of course, that's what they did. Farming. In the morning, they would have to milk the cows and feed them, feed the chickens, feed the ducks. Feed the two horses. Let's see, chickens, ducks. All right, they had cows, the two horses, chickens, ducks. What am I leaving out? Oh, turkeys. How could I forget? Yeah, Kathy, I forgot. That's what they called it, bucking bales. Because they pulled the hay wagon up and hooked the conveyor belt up. And then they said, the one, I think it was Sarah, she said, come on up in the loft and we're going to buck some bales. And that goddamn conveyor belt was fast. Jesus. I kept yelling down to Sadie, ease up with the bales, will ya? And she'd throw them on the conveyor belt, and then we'd have to throw, oh. And, you know, you would look at the two of them, and you would think a good, healthy sneeze would knock them over. Oh, they were all muscle. They were really depressed when I told them, I'm not coming back next summer. Because they kind of looked, because there were really no guys around in the area they kind of like having a male companion. Not that we ever did anything, but it was neat when we would ride. We jump on the tractor. One would sit on either fender because I had my uncle's old farmall, and we would go down to the general store for an ice cream cone. And it was so cool having a little blue-eyed blonde on either side. We go in the general store, and the guy that ran the general store said, "Oh, look who's lucky. He's got one on each arm. Just make an ice cream cone. Never mind the bullshit. Come on." I miss that. I couldn't do it 365 days a year, but they would get up at 4 in the morning, feed, milk the cows, because they had 6 cows. Milk the cows, feed all the animals. Then the school bus would come, pick them up. Then after school, they had all kinds of chores to do. I have to take a drive out one time to see if their farm is still there. I know right where it was. From what I have heard, most of the farms are housing developments now, which is sad because the whole area was nothing but farmland. Oh, I'll tell you what, the first time I did that, you're right, Kathy. Oh, God. I limped in the house, and my aunt was like, "What's wrong?" And then I told her, and she said, "Oh, hang on." And she used to make her own liniment. Oh, God, it smelled nasty. She said, "Here." I was, I went down the next morning, and they had another goddamn wagon load of hay. I said, "Not me." The two of them laughed their ass off. City boy. Yes. And I watched. I felt bad, but I watched. Sarah threw the bales on the conveyor belt, and Sadie threw them up in the loft. And then, after they were done, I took them for ice cream. It's, "Come on, jump on the farm wall." Like Green Acres. Green Acres, where I would be. That goddamn farm wall. It had a metal seat with a big spring under it. And you know, the police didn't do a goddamn thing. I mean, I was like 13 years old, but that's how everybody got around. They drove their tractors. Because let's see, they had a John Deere and a they had a John Deere. Well, the Ford was strictly for pulling the hay wagon, but the John Deere at International, they had a John Deere and an International farm tractors. And then they had a Ford, but it was not really a farm tractor. It was more for pulling, and they could put a plow on it and to do snow in the winter. The Ford wasn't technically a farm tractor like the John Deere or the International. And my uncle, he had a farm all. A Jubilee. Never heard of a Jubilee. Because the guy that had the farm next to Toth was their last name. Yeah, the Toth. He had a Minneapolis Moline, a, a dark green Minneapolis Moline tractor. That was a big one. He had a big one. Man, the farm equipment, and everybody shared. If a farmer didn't have a plow, the guy down the street had one. Go ahead, take it, use it. It was a wonderful society. All the farmers knew one another. They would help one another out if there was a problem. They traded equipment back and forth. Yeah, their name was Toth. Toth. I'm trying to think, what was his name? He was Harold. Harold and what the hell was her name? Lucille. Harold and Lucille Toth. And then the twins, Sarah and Sadie. Oh. That made summers interesting. Because at the back of their farm was a creek. And their father had kind of dug out a couple of sections to make it a little deeper. And the creek was about up to your neck. And when we were done with all the chores, we'd take the tractor back and go jump in the creek. Clothes and all. We didn't care. Although I don't think the girls owned a bathing suit. Every time we jumped in the creek, it would, in our clothes. And it was amazing in the middle of summer how cold that goddamn water was. Jesus. I was like, don't they ever heat the creek? But that's the way it was back, back in the 50s, 60s. I remember when we'd go into town, everybody bailed in the back end of the pickup truck. We all sat in the bed of the pickup truck. You don't see that shit today. We'd be riding down the road, the sheriff would be coming the other way, he'd wave. We'd all be sitting in the back of the pickup. Yeah, that was the big fun to go into town. We're going to the town, everybody load up. Sit in the back of the pickup. Christ, today they pull you over and cite you and arrest you. You'd see 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds driving tractors down to the general store. Basically, as soon as you were old enough to learn, you could reach the pedals and you could safely handle it, kids drove tractors. And the sheriff didn't do a fucking thing. Drive past, wave. Hi, Sheriff. That was fun times. Really fun times. But, to see those two girls up at 4 in the morning, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But that was farm life. Oh, you give them the ride in the bed. That's cool. But we did it all the time. It was normal to us. Who wanted to ride in the cab? No, we're going to ride in the bed. And every single pickup truck was a manual. They didn't have automatics back in the day. As a matter of fact, in Wellington, there was a general store, and he sold GMC pickups. He would have like 4 or 5 in the parking lot of the general store. And I remember when my uncle needed a new pickup. And he called Toth and he said, hey, can you run me out to Wellington so I can get my new truck? And they didn't trade him in back in the day. They pulled him back in the goddamn field. Why you would take a perfectly good running truck and just out to pasture and go to the general store / GMC dealer, get a new truck. You know, it was nothing to drive past every farm and see old cars out in the goddamn field. They didn't trade them in or sell them, just, it's past its prime now, we'll pull it out in the field and park it. We're done. I remember every farm had old shit just parked out in the field. Because my uncle had a couple of GMC pickups out in his fucking field. Because I remember when he called the hardware store and my uncle says, hey, I need a new truck. Okay. What color you want? I don't care. What do you got? Black, red, green. My uncle was like, I'll take the green one. I never had a green one. Okay. And old man Toth and him and me and the girls, we rode out in his Ford pickup out to Wellington. My uncle got his brand new GMC in dark green. And drove it home. And his old blue GMC got driven back in the field. God, that had to be what? 60, 61, 62, maybe 63. Because my uncle was like, you want to ride in my new truck? Nah, I'll ride with the girls. So then my uncle said, come on, girls. And they jumped in, we all jumped in the bed of his new pickup. Well, they might have been related. That's not really what you'd call a common name, Kathy. Oh, Ron sent me a picture of his cat. What a gorgeous cat. A gray and white tuxedo. I've never had a gray and white one. Mine have always been black and white. Speaking of, where is he tonight? Not doing well? Yeah, Linda, the funny thing, now, my uncle's old GMC probably was 5 years old. And when he went to get the new one, he bitched because it was $100 more after 5 years. How come that truck's $100 more? It's got the same equipment. Well, that's it. Oh, there he is. I love your cat. A gray and white tuxedo cat. I love it. You could tell he washes a lot. Man, that fur was bright white. Although next time tell him open his eyes. I've never had a gray and white. You have what, 3 tuxedos? Yeah, I'd love to have a gray and white tuxedo. Although I don't think Boots would like another boy in the house. He's king of the roost here. You know, the strange thing was, I had another tuxedo, called him Socks, because he had white feet. And Socks was about 10 years old when I got Boots. And boy, those two fought all the time because they both wanted to be the alpha male. And then poor Socks passed away. And then my son comes in with this little Abyssinian female. And I was like, oh man, here we go. Couple of weeks of hissing and spitting, and so Boots was in the hallway. Dale puts Shiloh down. They looked at one another, and that was it. No hissing, no spitting. It's like they'd been together for years. And then Marianne told me, well, yeah, it's a female. If you'd have brought another male in, there'd have been hissing and spitting and fighting. It was like she had been here forever. They went nose to nose. They looked at each other, kind of sniffed each other, and it was like, okay, you go your way, I'll go mine. But it's crazy. She's 5 years old and still 4 pounds. And it's hilarious because when she's next to Fatso, she looks like a kitten. Yeah, every now and then I'll put her on the digital scale. 4 pounds. Put Boots on the scale, 22. Big Fatso. Well, see, Linda, his previous cat, we had to put it down. And it was called Shadow. And he didn't want to call the new one Shadow. So he called her Shiloh. Sound close. Shadow, Shiloh. Oh, yeah, Kathy, he's a big boy. 22 pounds. And all, I call him the belly with feet. Because that's what he is, all belly. Especially when he lays on his back with his feet in the air. It's just. I call him the big belly with feet. Biggest weighing cat I've ever had. Biggest Socks weighed. Socks was about 12 pounds. Boots has got him beat. The belly with feet. The belly with legs. That's what I call him. Oh, here comes the belly with legs. And it's hilarious. He lays on that back all the time, feet in the air. Yeah, that's my big boy. The one who loves to bring me cat toys. This morning I had both SpongeBob's. I had the whatever that thing is with the feather tail. And a catnip ball. So in the morning I gather them all up. I put them in the box. And then he brings them in during the night. Well, it was 79 today and cloudy. And we actually have a cool breeze blowing. So, I got the exhaust system on the truck. It ain't that much more quiet, but it's a little quieter. Until I brap, brap. But it's a little more quiet. So tomorrow I can sneak out to the hospital and sneak home. I dread that. Brr. But at least the truck is done now. Really? we had about 15 minutes of a little mist. It was hardly anything. But they're saying it's supposed to rain tonight. Let's see, what is it right now? 71 and cloudy. It only got to 79 today. That cool breeze felt nice. Oh. I stepped out the door and I was like, oh, exhaust system time. Got the jack out, jack the truck up. Got the impact gun, the banding clamps. Put that pipe on. Put the muffler on. Brr, 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 brr. The hanger bracket. Brr, brr. Done. Well, we had a little thunder. Maybe about 10 minutes worth of thunder and about 15 minutes of just a little sprinkle. And then it was done. Since they changed the law in Ohio, you no longer need a front plate. So I ordered 3. I got 1 today. I should get the other 2 tomorrow, hopefully. So we have media television. And I got the logo that says Universal Television. So that's plate number 1. That's going on the Passat on the front. And what I'll do when I get the other 2, hopefully tomorrow, I'll trade them off. Because one says Fox and the other says NBC. And then this one says Universal Television. So that's, come on, idiot. Get it out of the light. There you go. So that's plate number 1. I couldn't find a decent CBS logo. I want to have all 3 stations, you know. Well, I couldn't, same thing, I couldn't find a decent ABC logo. That Universal is from MSNBC. So if I can find, I'm still looking. That way I'll have every station, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. I'll drive everybody crazy. They'll be like, wasn't that NBC? No, CBS. And then I have my door decals. Although I'm only going to use WDWL TV. I'm not going to put mobile camera crew. I'm just going to put that on the door, each door. One on the driver's door, one on the other side. WDWL TV. And that's all that's going on the Passat. because I'm not going to put. I was going to put because I have another Federal Vista light bar. I'm going to make it look like a undercover car because I got the lights for the top of the windshield and then in the back, green and white flashers. Well, if you want to order one, I'll give you the site on eBay. They're only $18. The guy make up whatever you want, and he has them for different states. I think he has them for every state. Because he made this one for me. Because when I sent him the vulture picture, he was like, "You really want that?" I said, "Yeah." Matter of fact, if you order them like before 1 o'clock, he ships them the same day. Guy's real good. Does beautiful work. But I figure since you can basically put anything on the front. Yeah, well, I got to change oil in the shit box. I've got the oil in the filter. I should have done it today with it being so cool. But unfortunately, being gimped up because I already did the tune-up, plugs, points, condenser, rotor, cap, wires. I did all that. And I got the oil in the filter. Oh yeah, Kathy's a girl after my own heart. Change her own oil. Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I hate the thought of it. I'm going to have to order synthetic oil for the Passat. Goddamn synthetic oil's expensive. Jesus Christ. I'll have to wait until Awful Zone has a special where the oil's on sale and you get the filter for free. You go, girl. Although, like they say, 64 is the new 44. What does your truck take? 5 quarts? I know some take more. Well, I got you both beat. 7. I I would need a little bigger drain pan. Man, that's expensive oil change. 7 quarts. Holy shit. And probably synthetic too, huh? I'm going to have to start reading up on synthetic oil now that I have to use it. Because otherwise, it gums up the turbocharger. If I use conventional, that's why you have so many Passats with bad engines. Because people didn't want to pay the money for the synthetic oil changes. Then the engine turned into sludge pits. Does yours take the weird one? The 0W30 or whatever? Are you running 5W30? I couldn't believe that when I saw that 0W20 or 0W30. That's like zero. Strange oil. Although I gotta look up and see what the hell the Passat takes. Because I have my Bible. I swear by these Chilton's manuals to my Bible. And that's what it looks like. The microphone's in the way. That's what it just picture it metallic green. That's what Grumpy's got. Well, Linda, it's more than conventional oil. My tablet charged? Not yet. I want to see if I can transfer music from my tablet to my ToughPad since it's slowly giving up the ghost. Okay, 5W30 synthetic. Okay. I'll tell you what. For one of my, what the hell car was it? One of my vehicles, I couldn't get a Chilton's. I ended up getting a Haynes. Those Haynes are crap. They only give you half the information, hardly any pictures. I swear by Chilton's. Matter of fact, when I was going through the GM training center, that's what they used, Chilton's. So I made sure I had one so I can start kind of studying the car. Matter of fact, Jim's son hasn't been here since last week. God, pissing me off. I got that brand new battery. I want to get that car over here. And I keep missing my neighbor. Get him to tow the RAV4 into his shop and get it running for me. That way I'll have a fleet. My whole fleet will be ready to go. The shitbox, the RAV4, my main winter vehicle with four-wheel drive. And then come January, the Passat. Although I will sneak it around the neighborhood a little bit. Kind of get the feel of it. Because out of the three, it's basically got the smallest engine. Because I got a 2-liter in the RAV4. I got a 2.4 liter in the shitbox. And the Passat is a 1.8. But it's got a turbo. So we'll see. What brand oil do you prefer, Kathy? Are you loyal to any brand like Valvoline or you get whatever's on sale? Is that what you use all the time? You think that's a good synthetic? Because now, since I got to start using it, I got to kind of get the feel for whether, Valvoline or Pennzoil or... I used to, for the longest time, I used to use Kendall. I guess that's what because I'm gonna have to do an oil change right away before I really run that motor. I'll have to go up and get some. I'll give Valvoline a try. I never really used it. I'll see if the Passat likes it. Matter of fact, for the longest time, I used Kendall 20W50 racing oil in all my cars. Kendall is neat because it's green. You pull a dipstick and like, really? Green? But can't be using that in the turbocharger. No. Matter of fact, let's see what kind of oil they recommend. One dash 14. 1-14. 16. 13. 14. Okay, come on, tell me what kind of oil. What kind of oil? Come on. You would think it would be right out in front. It's not saying. Telling me how to change oil. I know how to change oil. You would think it would say, big deal, it tells me how to remove the filter. I know how to remove the filter. I have filter wrenches. Come on, there's usually a section. Most of these come on. There's usually a section in the back because it gives you all the fuse sizes and everything. I gotta be passing it up somewhere. Oh, this is odd. Usually in a Chilton's manual, there's a couple of pages that are just, the specs. geez. It's got an oil change light. How to reset the oil change light. Oh boy, just what I need. Let me see how difficult that is. How to reset the... Oh, I hate those things. When my son had his Impala, it was always a pain in the ass to get the thing to reset. Yeah, it is a decent... It is a nice looking... I mean, for an 01, come on, Jesus. It's a nice looking sedan. It really is. And it's dark metallic green. Matter of fact, I dug out all the buffers. Yeah, I'm ready to get it over here. Yeah, I found all my buffing pads, and because I have one buffer that basically puts on the wax and one buffer that takes it off. All right, tune-up and maintenance. That's probably what I'm looking for. Tells me everything except it's probably 5W30. I think most of them take. Oh, I hope not. You got a specific Volkswagen oil? Oh, my. That's probably why it don't tell me nothing in that book. I hope I don't have to buy special Volkswagen oil. Oh, that's almost as bad as I had to buy special antifreeze for the Toyota. Because the Toyota takes red antifreeze. They're getting out of hand with these cars. Yeah, it's an 01 VW Passat with a 1.8 engine. Yeah, most cars are 520, some are 530, but most of them are all 520. It usually says on the oil filler cap. I guess I have to do some gargling. Although with what little mileage I drive, Christ, I only have to change oil once a year. So a once a year oil change won't bother me. Christ, I bet you I don't put on 100 miles a month. I probably don't do 50 a month. Yeah, because if I go to Mark's, and then I'll go down to Puritas, and maybe a doctor appointment once. Yeah, I probably don't do 50 miles a month. I'm gonna have to set my odometer. But with what little miles I drive, change oil once a year. But the oil will come out as clean as I put it in. So even if I have to buy special Volkswagen oil for a once a year oil change, I ain't gonna bitch. Well, yeah, Kathy, you and Linda live out in the sticks. You guys are so far out they have to pipe sunlight into you. Uh-oh. You're so far out in the sticks that your satellite dish gets programs 2 days late. Yeah, that was like when my son had his Impala. It'd be 1,000 miles to next oil change, 500 miles to next oil change, 100 miles to oil change, and then the light had come on. Change oil. Then it used to be a bitch to reset the damn thing. And then his goddamn tire pressure sensors used to go haywire all the time. I told him, I said, ignore the. Those things weren't cheap either. You had to dismount the goddamn tire to change the sensor. That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Oh, you got Roku. Yeah, Roku. I love Roku. That's why I bought my Samsung TV because it had Roku software. Oh, his would count down from 1,000 miles. Go 1,000, 500, 100, then brrr, on would come the light. Oil change. And it used to piss him off, Kathy, because, you know, I'm rated 130th I-71. And he was working out in Twinsburg. So he went through oil changes fast. I can't remember the road that that place was on in Twinsburg. So he was going from here to Twinsburg and back every day. So it didn't take long to go through oil changes. He'd come in the house bitching, goddamn oil change lights on again. Well, run up the, I can't remember the name of that goddamn oil change place up the street. It has a big 5 on the sign. 5-minute oil change or something. Yeah, you know, because you lived out in that area, and you know where I'm at. Right at 130th and I-71. I'm right around the corner. And boy, he hated the goddamn driving in the winter because fucking 271, they drive like maniacs. Every day there was accidents. Because he'd take 71 to 480 and 480 to 271. So if there wasn't an accident on 271, there was one on 480. In the winter, people just wouldn't take their foot off the accelerator. And then 271, they put them express lanes in. People drive like rocket ships out there. I'm going to have to look up tomorrow where that company was out in Twinsburg. And then you'll know exactly A to B and B back to A. Boy, I feel sorry for Twinsburg now. They got nothing for industry. They had the Chrysler stamping plant out there. They leveled that. It's gone. And then the Chevy plant, they're making fucking electric Hummers there. That city went downhill overnight. Because I took a ride out there after they literally leveled the Chrysler stamping plant. I was like, holy shit. Twinsburg's like a ghost town now. I feel sorry for all the mom and pop restaurants that had to close up. because everybody that worked at the GM and the Chrysler plants all stopped at them little mom and pop places for breakfast. Talk about losing a tax base. Holy shit. Because I'll tell you what, I bet you 50% of their tax revenue came from Chrysler stamping plant alone. And all them people lost their jobs. That was sad. Oh yeah, I was out there a couple of times for the Twin Festival. Oh my God. It was amazing seeing all the twins, and then they would have the oldest twins and the twins that came from the farthest distance. Because the one year I went out to the Twin Festival, the oldest twins were 90 years old, and the farthest twins came from New Zealand. I'll be like, jeez. But it is cool going out there and all the twins. Yeah, that Twin Festival is cool. Well, not to mention that Twinsburg was founded by twins. But isn't it odd seeing all the everywhere you're at, there's twins. Like me, I was the oddball because I didn't have a twin. It was amazing. I went twice. I was just in utter awe because everywhere you look are twins. And they all stay together. It's not like a twin over here and a twin over there. Nope. They're all together. Like, yay, 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 yay. Because the first year I went, there were, I think they were 82 or 85 triplets. Because they got some kind of recognition. Yeah, I think they were 85 years old. One guy and two girls. Triplets. But it is the coolest festival. It really is. I have never seen so many goddamn twins in one place in my life. I really had a good time. I really did. Because anybody that went out by themselves was an oddball. Like, where's your twin? I don't have one. I mean, And they come from all over. That's the neat thing. It's not like just Ohio, you know. There were twins from every goddamn state. And from Canada. There were twins there from England. Uh, oh, I couldn't, because they would bring them up on stage. You know, where do you, you know, we're from London, England, or we're from, you know, Paris, France, or it is the most amazing festival I've ever been to. Because it makes the singular person feel strange. I felt odd, like, gee, I wish I had a twin with me. Although, can you imagine two of me? Oh, man. That's a scary thought. Let's see, when did I go out? I know it was both times in the 80s. I would have to say like 81 or 82, and then 86, 87. I don't think I was there in 88. It was like 80 or 81, and 84, 85 maybe. That was a long time ago. But it was really interesting. The most twins in one space. And the interesting thing was that a lot of them were identical twins. You know, you have what? Fraternal. But seeing like carbon copies of, and they all dress alike. Yeah, and the neat thing is, if one's wearing a polka dot dress, the other one's wearing a polka dot dress. I mean, they make sure they all dress alike. I had a ball. Oh God, I spent the whole day there because I would walk around and talk to, you know, oh, you're from England, or oh, you know, you're from Texas. It was the most interesting time I ever had. And I originally I wasn't going to go. The girl I was dating at the time said, "Come on, you'll have a good time." Oh, I didn't want to leave. She kept saying, "Are we going to go?" No, I'm having a good time walking around talking to people. Finally, it was like 10 o'clock. She dragged me out of there. Come on. Oh, geez. Yeah, well, twins have a bad habit of doing that. I went, I'll tell you what, when I was going through, from grade school, middle school, there were a pair of twins that I went through school with, Steve and Jeff. And they would switch seats. I mean, they were identical. And one would go to one's class and the other one would go, they used to screw with the teachers. It was hilarious. They would screw with the teachers all the time. Because like one would be in math class and one would be in history and they would switch places. And the strange thing was they never went out to the festival. I was in touch with them for years. I said, how come you guys don't? I said, you don't know what you're missing. You'd have a ball. Neither one of them ever wanted to go. And one lived in North Olmsted, one lived in Fairview, so it wasn't like they were traveling miles. But they just never had an interest in going. And then the first time I went, I called them up. I said, you guys don't know what you're missing. You've got to go. Nah. It was the best time I ever had. Because it was all twins. Except for me. Us oddballs that didn't have a twin. Whoever came up with the idea for that festival, I hope they gave him a big award, because that was the neatest idea. Of course, that's why they call it Twinsburg, because twins founded the city. Would have been neat if they were triplets. Welcome to Tripletsburg. And every year, it's the same. They come from all over. Think of the money. Like if you're coming from England, what it costs you to come over to that festival. And they do it. It would be interesting to see, like, say from England, how many years they've come to the festival. But I had a good time. I had the best time of my life. Especially when you see the little ones, They're 4, 5, 6 years old. They're adorable. And even the babies, Women come in, they're only 8 days old, And everybody dressed alike. How cool. Well, peoples, I think it's about that time. Oh yeah, they all love the attention. We know where, right here. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. We had a fun time. Everyone take care. Have a wonderful evening. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. And with that, see ya.